we need to get to our redemption segment of the podcast, or was it really that bad?
Was it really
and
that
this week,
bad?
on the podcast, we are going to talk about Speed 2. Now, really
Can you
quickly,
please read the subtitle as well? It's Speed 2 Cruise Control.
yes, Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Also,
don't
just before we
forget
get into
about-
that, I should point out that in particular, some people have taken exception to some of our choices for this segment. So we do have now an open question on our Facebook page where you can list the movie that you think deserves a redemption, or was it really that bad, with the year, and we're just going to keep that open thread going. And if your year comes up, we'll do your movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, please respond.
This
a lot of bad movies. We want to hear
this
about
movie-
We've already got one. There's already one there.
This movie is on the IMDb bottom rated movies at number 92 with a 3.9 out of 10. Speed 2 Cruise Control,
high.
1997. On Rotten Tomatoes, which is out of 100%, Speed 2 Cruise Control has a 4%. 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. Context.
I don't often agree with Rotten Tomatoes, but when I do, it's Speed 2.
Context. Speed 1, starring Keanu Reeves and introducing the world to Sandra Bullock as the second bill, made $360 million worldwide on a $40 million budget. It has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a hugely successful movie. Speed 2 then gets a $160 million budget and no Keanu Reeves. Gee, did he know something that we didn't know? Gary Oldman was offered the role of the villain in this movie and turned it down to do Air Force One. Is he the smartest person alive? Is he a genius here? Is he a genius? $160 million budget. 100 million of it definitely went into the final 15 minutes of this movie. But on
Actually, they meant to do that for about 25 mil, I heard.
So the tagline here on IMDb is a computer hacker, who we find out later to be Willem Dafoe, breaks into the computer system of the Seabourn Legend cruise liner and sets it speeding on a collision course into a gigantic oil tanker. Now, the speeding on a collision course to the giant oil tanker is about 20 minutes out of this movie. That starts about an hour and 10 minutes in. There's a lot of other shit that goes on.
Yeah, and it's like a secondary target too. It doesn't even
Yeah. I wrote down here that everything I just said. It opens in just it opens like it. The Fast and the Furious movie took the 3% good out of the beginning of this movie and then just left the rest for scraps. Jason Patric, who I only knew from Entourage as Jason Patric, is on a high-speed chase. Is Jason, I don't know, is he a cop? What is he, an FBI cop? He's Officer Alex Shaw, and he's on a high-speed chase.
SWAT.
He's on the Suicide Squad. Remember,
Squad.
that's the
Sure,
name
sure.
of his
He's
special
chasing,
LA
he's chasing
cops
what looks
group.
like an ice cream truck up a hill in was it LA? It doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, and then he gets into a crash, and Sandra Bullock simultaneously is taking a driver's test. And honestly, she's so bad. It's not even funny bad. It's so ridiculous that I actually thought it was doing the miscongeniality thing, where she's actually brilliant and she's pretending to be bad for humor, but also to play, you know what I mean? And the fact that that was serious was a really big surprise to me at the end of that scene when she fails her driver's test. I thought she was going to be like DEA undercover or some shit that they were going to make, but instead she was just bad at her driving test. And then it is trash. But long story short, they get them on a cruise ship. And then they get them on a cruise ship.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, have you been to IMDb and looked at the trivia for this? Because it has one of the best trolls ever at the bottom of the list. If you scroll right down, it says that the film's script was written on the back of a bar napkin. The napkin was subsequently left at the bar. Therefore, the cast and crew had to wing it during production.
Pretty fun. pretty fun.
Fantastic troll on IMDb trivia.
We're gonna call this movie Fast and Furious on a boat, but if Fast and the Furious sucked.
Yeah, don't defame the good name of Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Well, because it opens with a car chase sequence and it's called Speed, so you get it. And then they go on a cruise ship, and you know what's really hard to do in a cruise ship? Find speed. It's just for that.
I mean, all right. So this is
Did Captain Phillips study this movie
massive...
for research to say what can't we do? How do we make sure we don't bomb the pirate movie? Like, how do we do this?
The opening of this film is actually really good, and it sets up the plot nicely.
No, the opening of the film is trash.
No, it's great. I would advise everyone to stick with it because it takes at least half an hour to suck completely.
Yes, exactly. I wrote down, one of my notes right here is minutes 10 through 30 were fine. Not great, but definitely not terrible. They were leading to an inciting incident. They laid on maybe a little thick, but we get what's going on. The two of them are in love. I guess he's gonna try to propose to her on the boat. Willem Dafoe is a hacker who wants to hack the system of the boat, and we get it. It's pretty simple. The lines are stupid, but like I'm on board for 10 to 30 is totally fine. Those 20 minutes and then that 10 minutes where the cruise ship is crashing into the land, 10 full minutes, that is great. I'm totally fine with that. The other hour and 40 minutes. It was the Titanic, but after it sunk, if they only filmed after everybody had died.
I mean, how did they get Willem Dafoe, dude? I mean,
money, $160 million for this movie. Money. I mean, it's kind of money.
Their first offer was to Gary Oldman,
did.
and then they followed it up with Willem Dafoe. So Jan de Bont, the director of this movie, who was coming off hot, he made Speed, which is good.
Yeah,
Speed is a good action thriller movie. That thing is people still talk about that. Then he made Twister, Jeff, you referenced earlier, in 1996, which I remember I watched not too long ago. I said it in what you've been watching, and I remember I was kind of let down by it. I like Speed definitely more than that. So watching this follow-up to Twister, he only made 2 more movies after this before he was not allowed to direct anymore, I guess, or decided to hang it up. The Haunting and Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life.
And that did it. He's in a farm upstate now.
So this is what I kept thinking, though. I'm not going to lie. This is not a good movie for sure, but I think my expectations were so low with that 4% Tomatoes rating that I kind of went into it, especially with that. I said, read the subtitle, because I remember thinking, there's no way somebody wrote this as the sequel to Speed. I bet this was just some random boat disaster movie script sitting on somebody's shelf, and they were like, "Hey, we need a Speed sequel."
It's funny you should mention that. You know what it originally was? Die Hard 3. No. This was the plot for Die Hard 3.
No.
Yeah,
this feels like a Die Hard movie.
So, there we go.
It definitely does.
It
100%.
feels like a Die Hard disaster. Like it's not Poseidon Adventure. It's not straight up natural disaster, but it has that feeling of like. It feels more like a disaster movie than an action thriller, where Speed feels like a suspense action thriller with the murders.
Why is Jason Patrick taking control of this cruise ship? He is not trained to be the safety engineer of a cruise ship. That definitely seems like a John McClane plot. I'm so glad you found that, Dave.
He also seems to know things that he shouldn't know.
Also, Die Hard 3 knew to not use this stupid script. Don't rewrite. The first one works because it's an empty building. We have a crew who's trained for this in this movie. I'm glad they didn't try to do that for Die Hard, even though it would have been better than whatever.
Yeah, and also like let's establish our hero so that he's a fitting Keanu Reeves replacement. I know we'll make him a liar, an overly jealous boyfriend, and a guy who can't let go of his job. The
guy who goes skeet shooting the day on the cruise ship off the back deck without telling Sandra Bullock, he sneaks out. Yeah, what a guy. But he's really nice. He's really nice to the deaf girl that he can do sign language with. That was kind of sweet.
Yeah, that was the little redeeming moment. It's like, oh, we might make you actually like him.
Oh, John, what were you saying about?
No way John McClane knew sign language.
Did they write? Who wrote for Sandra Bullock? They took the Die Hard script and then they didn't say, you know what? Sandra Bullock became a huge star from Speed 1. Okay, I think the whole like. Writers don't know how to write female characters, so therefore they write tropes and stereotypes. Anybody who thinks that should study how the fuck Speed 1 comes and Sandra Bullock becomes a huge international star, and this is the role they give her in Speed 2. That was trash. She is so much better than that.
It was there were literally sections where they put them in situations so they could repeat the beats from Speed.
Yeah.
Like when she uses the chainsaw to get through the door. And then they're like, oh, we can get out if you move. She's like, sorry.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same line she delivered in the first movie.
And they gave
in the middle of
they gave her the line.
They're just repeating themselves.
They gave her the line, I'm so scared or I'm so nervous, like 30 times. And I know that we, the audience, sometimes maybe writers feel safe if the characters announce the terror that we should be feeling as the audience. But Jason Patrick never said that. Willem Dafoe never said that. And so who's our fourth biggest character in this movie? Nobody. So I guess they decided that Sandra Bullock is the only person that's supposed to be worried or scared, which leads to a very two-dimensional character that she's just better than. And you watch the movie, and I didn't blame her for a second, because I sat there and I was like, this is not right. There's something here that's not right.
I mean, to be honest, like Jason Patrick is really just saying lines at some points.
Yeah.
Like he's not even... Like, he's just repeating what he read just before they rolled camera. But both him and Sandra Bullock pretty much only did this film to finance other projects they did afterwards.
And, I mean, yeah.
There are just there's so many, like, bad things in it that are really funny, too.
There's
like,
so many funny things. We would have
Willem
had so much
Dafoe-
fun watching this together, I think, if the three of us could have watched
Yeah,
this
I was like, I
together.
really wish we were watching this. I laughed out loud a lot at just some bad things. Willem Dafoe knew what movie he was in. Like,
Definitely.
he
that
knew it was
laughing at the
ridiculous.
end is so
the
ridiculous.
way he pushes his laughing, of course. The way he throws, the way he hits the captain with this like metal thing that the captain wasn't even in that part of he wasn't even close to that thing. And Willem Dafoe, I can't even, sorry, audience members, I can't describe this correctly, but there are these little bows that hang off the side of the ship, and apparently they rotate, and they're only like 4 feet long. And this is an entire like 15-foot walkway around the deck of the ship. And the captain passes Willem Dafoe, and they cheat the filming of it in such a way that it looks like Willem Dafoe cuts him off with this 4-foot metal thing and beats him with it and throws him off the ship. The captain was nowhere near it. The guy who replaces him, when he has both of his arms are broken by the end of the movie. I kept thinking of Mufasa, Will Ferrell's character from Austin Powers. That guy got
I think it's
fucked up in this movie.
right? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Mustafa.
Yes.
Excuse me. But yeah, Sandra Bullock's everything they wrote for
Also,
her was just
you
really
recognize that
offensive and disappointing.
You recognize the other guy, right? He was Jango Fett in Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did recognize him. I don't
Wait,
really know.
let's talk about the funny moments.
I mean,
Let's-
again, I kept saying to myself,
I have some points.
Okay, good.
Willem Dafoe as the villain.
Yeah.
In Speed 1, Dennis Hopper, we get almost to the end. There's a little bit of action still left over, but they finally corner him and he reveals his motivation behind everything. And so at this point, up until this point, you don't know why he's doing this. And so it's there for discovery. Willem Dafoe runs into the captain and blurts the whole fucking thing out. And he's pretty much going to smash a cruise. He's pretty much like, it cheapened the character, and he's pretty much just going to smash this cruise ship into like an island because he lost his health benefits.
I referenced that in
now that I live in America, I understand that.
It's a political movie, Dave. Speed 2 Cruise Control.
I referenced that in Superman, Brendan Ruth, Kevin Spacey, whatever that's called, where the villain halfway through the movie says their whole... And it's just not realistic at all. It's just so ridiculous. But yes, they do that in this movie. But can we talk about some of the funny things? So I've definitely have seen, for sure, the final sequence where the cruise ship is going to crash into the land. And I knew that it took 30 minutes for this cruise ship. It's so funny. Anyway, can we talk about some of the funny moments that happen during this that make this whole movie worth watching? What, Dave?
Thanks to the MSC Opera in Venice, this movie is now a documentary because they actually did that crash into the dock.
I mean, Jesus.
Holy shit. I didn't know that. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was real?
No. A cruise ship actually smashed into a dock. The Opera.
Sorry.
So this cruise ship, which can't break, is crashing into the dock in the Caribbean, right?
It can't break. Are you fucking kidding me? Nothing works on this fucking cruise ship.
Yeah, I can't believe it's even going forward, to be honest with you. But anyway, and somehow nobody in the bay notices the cruise ship that's crashing into the dock. And so you get scuba divers who dive under the boat as it's coming because they didn't notice it. You get sailors obviously getting out of the way. But my favorite line in the entire movie is this cruise ship is like 30 feet from shore and it is going straight into the fucking dock. It is going to destroy this town. And a guy jumps off a boat and says, "We have the right of way here." That is an exact quote. "We have the right of way here," which it says to a cruise liner that is very clearly on a reckless path of disaster, as if it can talk sense to a cruise ship boat. That is so fucking funny. How does nobody see this coming? A boat goes flying into a restaurant. You have people wakeboarding in front of the cruise liner. You have it is so great. The whole final sequence is totally worth it. And then the Willem Dafoe, very Die Hard-esque death, I must say. The Willem Dafoe crashing the plane into a pole and then living.
After all their fucking work to not blow up the oil tanker, they blow up the oil tanker.
I mean, they basically said,
I mean, that explosion was ridiculous.
And back to the thing where you thought I was talking about, they actually did that. To an extent, they did. They built a full-size rig of the front of the boat and built a replica of the dock and literally ran it on tracks and smashed it into the dock. So
in
a lot of
slow motion.
Yeah, a lot of that was real, to an extent. Like it was a life-size construction. That's why the end of that film cost so much fucking money.
eh.
All right. Without a doubt, the guy who gets the acting award for me is who's he, Scottish
for sure.
or Irish? That guy gave it 1,000%.
Yeah.
He was, all of his training went into this big break he thought he had.
Yeah.
All of it's just so bad, you guys. I mean, the callback to I know the callback to was the guy with dreads at the end who has the boat and he's in Speed. You know, he's in the first one for no reason at all. They like put this coda on at the end where he's heavily involved at the very end.
That thing.
Did they think Speed 3 was happening or something?
I mean,
I don't
understand why that was there.
It's so conflicting too, because like that end sequence has some of the best practical and the worst CG effects in the same scene.
I don't know, you guys. Again, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, only because I kind of told myself I have a feeling this is not actually supposed to be Speed 2. It's just a ship movie and shit goes wrong. And if I look at it that way, and I pretend Sandra Bullock is not. I remember I just kept saying to myself, Academy Award winner Sandra Bullock. Academy Award winner Sandra Bullock is saying these lines. This poor woman.
I mean, she herself in an interview has called this movie a steaming pile of trash.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just.
And I'm sorry,
it's really
like
not strong.
while we're on the subject of Sandra, seriously, every time she leaves the fucking house, Speed 2, The Net, Gravity, Bird Box, I'm starting to petition to get her to stay home.
Yeah, I think she might want
to.
Did she leave the house in 2020?
Yeah, Gravity. Gravity. She left Earth.
No, I counted Gravity. Yeah, that was in there.
Nothing.
But like seriously,
nothing goes right for this woman.
She obviously left the house somewhere back in January, and 2020 is all her fault.
Matt Damon is still more expensive to the United States government though than her.
Yes.
With The Martian and Saving Private Ryan and Bourne, the movie, yeah, for sure. Okay,
how much worse would this movie have been had Willem not been in it?
Exponentially.
Yeah, like I mean, at least
if it wasn't somebody like him or Gary Oldman,
that's one of the things I like about Willem Dafoe. Like he will take something that is, for lack of a better word, trash, and he will bring something to it that just elevates it just a little bit out of the shithole it's in.
He'll do his job. Wait, I think this is an important question though, especially for our fans that have stuck with us here. If the three of us were together and we got drunk and we watched this movie, I don't know about 2 hours and 5 minutes, but we would have had some fucking fun watching this movie.
Yeah,
right?
I think I was disappointed I watched it alone. I think it's worth.
Same.
It's a fun bad movie. I thought it was. You can pick on it, and you don't feel bad about picking on anybody in it.
Definitely invite your friends around and have a drinking game with this one.
It's on Hulu.
This is one definitely a group watch.
Wait, let's make up a drinking game really quick. Okay, let's say anytime Sandra Bullock says she's scared, go ahead and actually then don't drink, pour one out for the writers of this fucking film every time she says like. Okay, what's another good one?
Anytime they open the side of the ship and water trickles in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
anytime Jango Fett gets injured.
Anytime the supporting character, that's good. Anytime a supporting character has one line and it's offensive. Do you notice that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
These people come in with one line and there's just big women here. What? And it's like, I mean, adult women, and it's just like a bunch of fat women. Like, come on, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's
also,
not worth it for the comedy.
Like he's like, I don't see anyone else taking their pants off. Why isn't she taking anything off? Because I'm not wearing
Yeah.
underwear. Who is writing this shit?
Sexy,
That-
and then it cuts down to like a sexy shot of her legs or something. I was like, okay, come on. I know they tried. That was one thing. All right, to actually say that, yeah, we can keep going with this game. Actually, what else do we have?
I don't know. Anytime the music sounds like another movie. I swear when she goes underwater and Jason Patrick has
What
to
was up
save
with
her
this
because
music?
she's a woman, so obviously she can't swim. I swear to God they ripped off the Little Mermaid. It was literally like like it was
Also,
trash. It was trash.
What the fuck up is the water lava?
It's the water-
Every
the
time
water's
anyone
lava.
falls in the water, they immediately die. Why did that fucking sailboat explode when the ship touched it?
Good question. The
Nothing-
sailboat apparently was just
everything else broken
lined
too,
with
but this one
gasoline.
sailboat's just like boom! I'm gonna fucking explode.
When they are trying to pull him in, there are some wonderful like bad continuity shots or like just bad
Yeah.
executions. This boat is supposed to be racing forward. Yeah. It's supposed to be racing forward, and they're pulling what's his name? Jason Patrick.
Jason
Is that his
Patrick,
name?
yeah.
They're pulling him in, and it's supposed to be going full speed, and there is no current moving against him.
Yeah.
They're
And
just pulling
also,
him in like tepid water.
Just previously, they established that the blades of that rotor are 12 feet long. And I'm sorry, how is he 3 fucking miles from it? Because that was not a 12-foot like.
That was not 12 feet.
You know what else? These old movies, and this includes Die Hard 2, but any other movie that has either radar or sonar, they don't know how to move the blips in a time that's dramatic. So I swear to God, that oil tanker, when they introduce it and they see the oil tanker coming at it, if you just look at the sonar, impact is in 15 seconds. It's literally like bap, 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 bap,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden there's a 20-minute sequence.
I
Get the fuck out of here with these old sonar shots.
I got another one for the drinking game. Anytime someone says they don't know how to use something and then proceeds to tell them what each button does.
Yeah, that happens a lot. How about all the technical things? Every time like there's a ridiculous, are you kidding me? That's not actually how you do it technically. The first time you see Willem Dafoe plugging up all the cables from the cruise ship into the little box that says the FiOS cable converter box, and then he types in executions to the computer program that says things like when to execute, and he types now. He doesn't type like a time countdown. It just says now. I mean, there's so many things like that. They're just like, God, one person could have made this decision better.
Yep.
Somebody just had to change a computer graphic and it could have made it better.
All right, I feel like we could go on for hours.
He's a computer hacker who like kisses his equipment too. He's like, oh my God, my USB port. It's so weird. Okay, sorry, Dave. We were moving on to finish our episode.
I don't think our livers can
That's
take
the
any more
Speed
of
2
this.
drinking game. It's on Hulu right now.
I had more fun watching it than maybe it came off though. I didn't hate this as much as I thought I was going to.
I hated a good hour of it, but the rest was pretty good.
That's me. That's for me. Yeah.
No, that's for Jeff.
It's for both of us. Sorry, Dave. Bring us home. Get us out of here.